Y'all know what time it is.
Hello there.
Hey everyone, Jedi Mike 7 here, and I'm back with another video. And today we're going to be covering episode 5 of Obi-Wan Kenobi. Guys, okay, now unlike the underwhelming episode of last week and stuff, episode 4. I gotta say this one obviously was better, but I still had a little bit some problems with it. But yet we're gonna get into it. But before we get into it, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button, comment, like, and share. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode, and also I'll be coming up with other content coming on this channel. So make sure you hit notification bell before on your way out. All right, let's get into it. So one thing I had to add here is that the way that how this episode started was that how we kind of got flashbacks of Hayden Christensen and um Obi-Wan Kenobi training. And obviously you can tell from the look of it, we're on Coruscant, but we can tell that based off Anakin Skywalker, his haircut, everything, that this is probably during the Attack the Clones era before he becomes a Jedi Knight. He's still a Padawan. But yeah, and I like what they were doing there. The little bit of the aging have not really done a good job. I mean, obviously you can tell Hayden Christensen has aged, especially like with some wrinkles on his face and everything. Yeah, 10 years can do a lot to you. And But I will say I like that we're trying to keep going back in this recurring theme of the episode, going back to obviously seeing Obi-Wan and Anakin fighting, but yet Anakin be more the aggressive offensive type, and then knowing how Obi-Wan can overcome him and everything, which is the same tactics he used throughout this episode, which you'll find out later on this episode that actually when Anakin had become Vader, that he's actually using some of the teachings uh that Obi-Wan taught him, but using it as him as Vader against another character, which we'll get into. But yeah, as we move forward, we're going back to where we left off, where all of a sudden, now they finally got Leia, but now because they put a tracker device on Leia's little device and stuff, now they're able to find her and they're on their way. Now that they get all these people on this transport and stuff, and then we're trying to get ready to leave. And then at this point, this is where we get more of Riva now being granted with the power of being Grand Inquisitor, right? And now with that, she has more of this power and this ability now that she's able to go get Obi-Wan full throttle with her fleet of stormtroopers. Now, one thing again, as everyone getting ready to leave, you get to find out that that she was actually was one of the younglings. That the theory has been confirmed that she's actually been one of the younglings during Order 66, and she was there when Anakin basically killed uh her friends. And then you can find out that in the beginning of this episode there was a tagline saying viewer discretion advised, some scenes might be difficult for some viewers. And I'm like, why? Well, because they're killing children. And you find out that again the theory about her, that now that she was taken as an inquisitor, but under not knowing that no, she was actually a youngling during the great Jedi purge. Now this caused a lot of issues because more of the motivation is character for you to say that, okay, now Obi-Wan realized, like, hey, how can you know Anakin his name? Because in the comics, nobody knew who Anakin was Vader. Nobody in the Empire other than like Tarkin and a few other people, Emperor. But then she's like, how do you knew unless you were there? And then you see flashbacks saying that my friends were slaughtered. And Obi-Wan was basically responding, saying, "Well, now you're going out hunting him. Now you're not here to fight for him. You're here to hunt him." But then again, that goes against the narrative. Like she's out there going to kill Jedi, going cutting people's hands off, but yet or no, just order to get Vader. But yet you were a Jedi. Like that to me just didn't make any sense to me. Like if your motivation being a good person, it's just like there's some other means you could have go against, fighting against Vader, and also you think Vader, Lord Vader himself, would not notice that you're the youngling during Order 66 that he spared, you know. And again, you learn later in the episode what that, but I just did not like I had not liked the motivation just of her character. Again, it seemed really inconsistent just from how we've been following her throughout the rest of these episodes and stuff. So but again, as we move forward, we're just trying to, Obi-Wan trying to stall them and get uh all the people back on this fleet so where they can leave, but then all of a sudden the door is closed because of the little robot that Leia has. Now, again, another flaw. Leia, you and this robot is inseparable, like in all these other episodes. And you mean tell me that all of a sudden this robot is gone for like 20, 30 minutes, whatever. You don't know where it's at. I'm like, and you can't tell the thing had tracker on it. I just, again, some things I just, the writing is it seemed lame. But again, going to that point of them fleeing and now the stormtroopers are coming in, you can have a fleet of stormtroopers, right? And all this stuff, them just going in and just raiding all these folks, and still none of them, as everyone is still missing the shot until they get a few characters, right? Which leads to the demise of this lady right here, of this character, when she sacrificed herself with a thermal detonator. Yes, it's a very emotional scene, but again, it's just the same trope. Oh, I'm gonna sacrifice myself while the hero go and watches, and yeah, you have a whole fleet of stormtroopers. I mean, everyone who have no armor, and then they're just not gonna get shot. It just, but yeah, but again, going to that, I'll move forward. And then we go back to flashback scenes with Anakin and Obi-Wan, and just kind of showing this whole thing about that you're uh Obi-Wan teaching the lesson that your strive to just try to prove yourself leads to your demise, right? And that basically goes to what Reva did. Like she felt like she got to prove herself, which ultimately led her demise at the end of the episode, or allegedly, which we'll get into that. But again, one thing that I did like what they did was that when they went into uh more further into the episode, Obi-Wan, he was like, he's saying, no, I'm gonna sacrifice myself. I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna let them take me. But then the whole thing with Reva, he tried to compromise her, like, let me fight with you. We can take him, right? But she said, how do you suppose we'll win? I don't need you. I can do this all by myself. No, stupid child, right? But one thing that we do learn later is that as much as that Reva is going to think that she bringing Obi-Wan to Vader. Obi-Wan's saying, no, I'm bringing Vader to you, right? I'm bringing him down here because it doesn't matter. You can attack him all you want, but the only thing you're gonna see is me. And I like that. I like what they did there. Again, what one of the things that I felt what they did was a little bit uh just kind of a little bit like repetitive, which is like some type of Last Jedi um tropes, with just terms of like, again, like military tactics are just like, they're just kind of stalling just for the sake of time. But then we get to Vader arriving, right? And again, every time Vader is on screen, it is a show. And I'm telling you that they should have basically make a Vader show after watching this episode, really just this whole season, you know what I mean? Because like I honestly believe that when he's approaching, these scenes, every scene he's in, he's intimidating, he's a brute force and stuff, and yet he searched this type of dominance, you know, that Hayden Christensen, I felt that he kind of grew into this role, because it felt in the original, or at least the prequels, that Hayden Christensen really did not felt like he kind of really embodied Vader. Like you really can't look at that kid and say, "Oh yeah, that's Vader." But now, even though Hayden Christensen grow in the role, even though that scene of him being a Padawan fighting with Obi-Wan, I can now see as a viewer, yep, that is Vader. You know, mercy cannot mercy cannot defeat enemy, master. Like there's some logic. I took your weapon. You're defeated. Admit your defeat. Again, it's that presence of him being that aggressor. And then we go into then this scene now where now they Leia, Leia gets the open the hatch and stuff, and they leave. All of a sudden, then as they're getting ready to leave, Vader opens the door and he's like, "Hold up, like psych." He exerting all this dominance and this power, and and he like tearing the ship apart. Lo and behold, there was another ship on the other side, and they flee. Now again, you mean tell me that ship? Now he could stop that ship, and he couldn't stop the other one that flew away? Again, the logic. And as soon as this time, we get to know, uh, uh, Vader, hopefully might be blinded. Also, Reva comes in screaming, yelling, trying to hit him, and then all of a sudden now we get this sparring match between her and Vader. And again, Vader was just toying with him. He was using the Force. He didn't much use his lightsaber. He didn't open his own weapon. He took hers. And again, I like what they did that scene. That was a very, very badass scene what they did with him, and trying to, again, assert the mastery of the chosen one, but in using the Force for the dark side, right? And yeah, she put a good fight, but again, this is Vader we're talking about. Come on now, he's toying with you. And then here we go. It's the end, Reva just getting all this emotion and everything out there. I gotta tell you, well, Reva, what all the stuff she's doing, I gotta say that she has a huge, huge case of
emotional damage.
yeah, like so, yeah, a huge case of that. So I do believe that with Riva that she really met her demise, but hey, she asked for it, and now here we go after she been getting to the chest, with the lightsaber by Vader. All of a sudden, who shows up? The Inquisitor, the Grand Inquisitor, right? Um, and the one we saw from Rebels that we know for a fact he wasn't dead because that would broke continuity. But yeah, he was saying, "Oh, third sister, revenge it suits the will to live, doesn't it? And again, just nobody dies in Star Wars, I guess. You get impaled in the chest, you be fine. Hey, you get cut in half, Darth Maul, you be fine. But Qui-Gon, like, hey, peace, rest in peace. Again, the fact that Reva got shot, like impaled in the chest with a lightsaber, and she's still moving, grabbing the little inhibitor caller that Obi-Wan has to connect with Bail Organa. Then Bail Organa had the message of saying, "I haven't heard from you. Uh, if I haven't heard from you, I'm gonna go to Tatooine and check on the boy, which is Luke." And that's where the episode ended off. That we're gonna hopefully in this next episode, the finale, we're gonna get Luke, and maybe now we don't know what this scene. It insinuates that maybe that um that they're gonna Riva is gonna go tell him, hey, Luke is on Tatooine, your other child's there, or something like that. But all we know is that Obi-Wan is now in the transport ship with Leia and with the rest of the crew, but they run out of fuel and an enemy is slowly approaching them. Again, it's now similar to the Last Jedi, but again, get kind of a little repetitive. But again, I thought this was a way better episode. But um, to me, I think this season really should have been more than 3 or 4 episodes less. Um, and more just kind of get straight to meat and no filler and all this stuff. And I felt that really did get to the hype of this show and to the story. But yeah, I gotta just say I was really kind of disappointed with the execution they did with Riva, just with her scenes and stuff. Because I was rooting for the actress and stuff, but I don't know if it's her performance. I think it might be just her, really the writing of the character. Some people can say it's her performance. I'm saying more of the writing. You only good what you're dealt with, right? Especially look at Hayden Christensen. Like he got a lot of trope for saying, him being a supposed bad actor, him being Anakin, but really with a different director, he's insinuated his acting capabilities to be more whole as the role of Anakin and what it takes. So I thought he did a good job with that, but hopefully we get our hopes up for next week's episode for the finale, the supposed finale, and everything. And they better uh hit this thing out of the par. I'm telling you, if we do not see if we do not see Qui-Gon next week episode, I'm gonna like I'm done. I'm gonna be through. I'm gonna be really really pissed off. But hopefully, I have hope for this though for this show, and hopefully that again in Star Wars we trust. I guess. I mean I'm just trying to keep my hopes up and with this show and everything. But I wish this show could have been way more bigger and grander than it actually is right now. But lo and behold, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button, comment, like, and share. Let me know what you guys thought of this episode 5, and what your predictions of next week's episode, which is the finale. Till next time, I'm Jedi Mike 7. Peace. We are out.